Hi, I'm Mr. Shell Bowler. You can just call me Shell, and this is part three to my aquarium journey. Sorry that it took a bit longer than usual to make this. There's been a lot going on in my life recently, so it took me a few days to finally get to recording this video. There's a lot of things that have changed, as you can obviously see. There's now new decor, there's now water in the tank, and I got all sorts of stories with that. So, um, first, let's talk about what I've done with the tank. First thing is the decor. As you can see, there's some pieces of driftwood. Originally, it was one long piece of driftwood. I planned for y'all to see that. However, unfortunately, the audio wasn't good, um, so you didn't get to see me go out and collect that. Um, I also went ahead and used some other stuff that I previously had or that was given to me, like these river rocks, for example. You can see here, this one here, were all from a collection of a family member of mine. They're like river rocks, straight out of a river sort of deal. Um, as well as some other stuff that I got from a family member. And here closely, you can see right there is that cave I had that I was talking about getting rid of. However, I chose to keep it. Um, so decor, the hardscape is basically done. There's a chance that this rock here I may remove. Talk about more of that in a bit. But let's just go ahead and get a closer look at the hardscape as I have it right now. Here's a closer look at the aquarium at the moment. The concept I had in mind was a kind of a creek or riverbed with a direction flowing this direction. The direction going this direction. The direction flowing this way. As you can see, I put down some larger river rocks here because with the way these work, you would have the open areas. The sand would be moved out of the way by the flow of the water. However, when you're getting around some larger objects that aren't moved by the current, sand tends to pile up around them. So you can see there's more sand piled up around here. Um, you have these new pieces of driftwood, you have these new rocks and all that. Let me know what you think about this rock here. If it's not too much of an eyesore, I may keep it in here, but I think I'll get y'all guys' opinion on the matter. Next, let's talk about the biggest change, the water. What I'm very excited about finally having is the water. So, I believe I told you in last part, plans were to get a filter and a bunch of other stuff to make sure that I could actually get water into the tank. So next time, part 3, you'd see water in it. And, well, you do. So that does mean, yes, I got a filter. I got a Fluval 307 canister filter. Um, and it's working perfectly. As you can see, the tank is really clear, like absolutely beautiful. It's fantastic. I'm so glad that I was able to get it. Um, but let me tell you, there's quite the story into the process of getting this tank filled up with water. It was the first actual, let's say, um, bump in the road of the process of setting this tank up. So the way I filled it up, this is the only I won't be doing this ever again just because of how this went. The way I filled it up is we have a I guess it's called a water spigot. Basically, just a water. Yeah, it's called a water spigot, but it's far away from the house. It's not right next to it. It's fairly far away. So what I did is I hooked up a garden hose to the water spigot. Then I hooked up a garden hose to the garden hose. Then I hooked up a 25-foot aquarium siphon hose to that garden hose, and then a 50-foot siphon hose to that siphon hose. So you have 4 different hoses running from that water spigot outside to the aquarium. And as you can see, it did work. It got water into the tank fairly well. Some of the substrate was disturbed. You probably could see that when if you look at the substrate when you got a closer look, you could probably see that. Um, the one part where it didn't work perfectly was that the connection, the garden hose to siphon hose connection, and the siphon to siphon connection were not tight at all. And unfortunately, a lot of water leaked, and I did not realize until I was done filling the tank. So, a lot of water was just all over our house. Dealt with it. It's fine. It's the past and all that, but it wasn't fun during the case. Um, I thought that'd be the end of it, though. After having to wash all of our towels in the house. But that was not the end, because then was time to set up the filter. I already had the filter in place as I had put it in the night before. I had put everything together, installed it. All I needed to do was just get it working and get the filtration started. I started to do that. Water started to flow in once I pumped it enough, because it's a gravity system. And then immediately it starts leaking. So I take it out, I get everything disconnected, and I look and I realize it was leaking at the lid. And I look and I realize that a gasket was missing, the gasket to the lid, not there. So I call Fluval and I tell them, hey, there's a gasket missing on my filter. And it's funny, I was sitting down on the floor next to the pile of like trash and stuff from the box that the canister came in. And the person there, great guy, was like, basically, the gaskets come in a separate bag. And as he is saying this to me, I look over and I see the gaskets in the bag. It's hilarious. Fantastic. I thought I was going to have to wait for a replacement piece, because I thought maybe mine just didn't accidentally come with a gasket or something. But luckily I had it, installed the gasket, got everything together, and now it works perfectly. I have to in order to have a perfect filtration, I have to put it a little bit lower on power, but that's okay anyway. I didn't want like strong currents from it, because if I have it any stronger, it's blowing the sand everywhere, and yeah, I don't want that. So, and plus we're going to have a lot of fish in here who could necessarily handle higher flow, but they're not going to want it. And plants too. It works well. So everything is good. I have some plans to make the water change process simpler. Basically, I'm going to, because with those, specifically an Aquarium siphon hose is what I have. And one of the things you can do with them is that if you have the right faucet to your sink, it can hook up to the faucet. So you can just turn your faucet on and have one end of the hose and have the other end of the hose in the tank, and there you go. It'll fill it up. However, we don't have the right faucet for that, so I'm going to be looking for a new faucet, basically, that will be able to connect. Yeah, so there's that. I guess if anything's to learn is just that don't do that again. I only wanted to do that once just because I wanted a faster way to fill this tank up that wasn't filling up buckets a billion times. So there's that. Won't do it again. Shouldn't have to do it again. It was a tedious process anyway. So there's that. Now that we have water in here, before we move on to the plans for this coming month, let me talk about something that I learned recently that changes a bit of our plans for this tank. If you remember, our original stocking plans were platies, rice fish, pea puffer, and mystery snails. Now, the two species that have come into question is the pea puffer and mystery snails, mainly the pea puffer. So, a friend of mine and other people online brought the information to me is that I was missing some information regarding pea puffers. My original research told me that you could keep them by themselves and that they would not harm the mystery snails, as the mystery snails are too big for them to care about. The tank is large enough to where they'll have plenty of space to, entertain themselves, as I knew they were an intelligent species, meaning that they would want to, they want to be seeing a new environment constantly, sort of deal. However, there was some information I was lacking, and some information I was even wrong about based off of my research. It is possible I got outdated information, but luckily I learned the truth before I bought the animal. So the first thing I was wrong about was the pea puffer mystery snail deal. Pea puffers will kill mystery snails, no doubt about it. So immediately I have to either get rid of the pea puffer or get rid of the mystery snails. Another thing I learned is that they need to be kept in schools, right? Because this will they school in the wild. They need to be kept in groups. That's fine. I can keep them in groups. But what I learned that put the nail in the coffin for the pea puffers is that they're similar to bettas and where they can have varying personalities. So where some of them do not work for community tanks, and it's something where you just have to test out their personality. With this setup being my first tank in a while that I'm taking time on and I want everything to go as smoothly as possible, I want it to stay simple, I am not going to be keeping pea puffers in this tank. It's very sad. I really wanted to, but it's just not going to work. So, I have chosen something instead. The new stocking will be platies, ricefish, galaxy rasboras, and mystery snails. Hopefully this will work. The information provided to me tells me that it should do just fine. I'll have to get a lot of the rasboras, but that's okay. You don't often get an excuse to buy a crap ton of fish in this in this hobby, so that's amazing. So that should be our stocking. Hopefully, I don't have to worry about finding something new. Hopefully this can be our final like confirmed stocking setup. Because it's just a whole thing to have to be like, all right, I gotta find something else again. I have plenty of options that I've already set, so it's not like I'm having to do like a crap ton of research each time. But it would be nice to finally not have to worry about that. So there's our new stocking based off the information. Thank you to anyone who provided that information to me. I really appreciate it. Now, moving on to future plans. As I already mentioned, hopefully I can get that faucet so the um, water changing process on this tank is much easier. Um, if we're lucky, this coming month, I should be able to get the first plants. We'll see what happens. If not, you'll know when next update comes around. Um, yeah, it's next month probably isn't going to be that big of a deal because that big of a change is because we're in the process now to where I need to let this tank cycle. So there's that. So that's all that's new. We got the core. We got the nitrogen cycle started. We got water in the tank. It's fantastic. The next step will be plants, which is going to be a big step for me. Oh, also a heater. I'm going to have to also get a heater. Duh. Tropical community setup. I'll be buying a heater. I've looked into the temperature ranges for all the fish, and I believe I'll be keeping it 70 something. I don't remember if it's 72 or 75 or 78. Leave if you know what would be a good temperature range for the animals that I'm keeping in the tank. Platies, rice fish, galaxy reservoirs, and mystery snails. If you can leave a good temperature range that'll be good for all of them, let me know. That'd be great. Because there's lots of varying information when it comes to like, especially your Madokas, because like you'll have some posts that says like, here's their huge range that they'll do fine in, but then there's also the same thing where it's like these are what they're going to be absolutely happy in. So let me know. I appreciate any responses to this video and any information you can provide me. And I think that's it. So hopefully, part 4 will have plants in this tank, and hopefully that goes smoothly because plants are going to be something. I have not had a good experience with plants in the past. So if this can go well, I've done plenty of research. I seem to know how it works. A lot of it is just letting them do their own thing. Then that would be amazing because I would love if I could have this thickly planted and have the platies and the rice fish. Like especially, it'd be really cool if the rice fish bred. I know the platies probably will. It would be really cool if the rice fish were to breed in this setup. I don't know if the galaxies would breed in this setup. I don't know how likely that is. The snails would literally just come down to where I have the water level. So yeah, that's about it for now. thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to. Leave a like. That's cool. Comment as well. Feel free to give any information on it directly on the video. It would boost it up. This will be on a forum as well, so that's probably where a lot of people are going to be seeing this. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.